Okay, I guess it's time to get started. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good whatever time it is where you are. Things are a little different because one of my side lights has decided it wanted to die, which is perfectly fine. It was not a very expensive one. It was not being used for its intended purpose. It was originally like a stage light for photography, and I guess having it next to so many chemicals did not work well, and so I guess the way it was being strained, I don't know. All I know is that it's dead, and so all I've got is my overhead light, which looks like it's going to be fine for, you know, the camera. I've finagled some things, I've moved some things around. Hopefully that will allow for a better camera angle. Hopefully that will allow for some better shots. Who knows? But what I'm doing right now is I'm going to go ahead and continue working on this lovely lad, who is showing up impressively bright on the camera. So hopefully he will continue looking that way even after I've started to paint him. I've got to admit, I'm really impressed with just how incredibly bright his Vexilia, I guess it's called, looks in the camera feed, because it's definitely not that good looking in real life. But that's okay. I'm gonna let the camera lie to me for a little bit. So, from what it looks like, this is why I need to write my recipes down. I'm going to have a Seraphim Sepia wash, a gold brown, charred brown, and pale sand, I believe are the colors I use. So I'm gonna get those mixed up, and then we will go ahead and continue. And honestly, I don't even think I really need the charred brown because he's already got that nice base coat on him. So I'm just going to go straight into the gold brown, and we'll see how that works for us, okay? So let's get us some gold brown on the palette, using a wet palette I found on Amazon that is non-proprietary. It's not Army Painter. It's not any company that I'm really aware of. But they have a bunch of replacement foam cores and a bunch of replacement paper, so I'm assuming they're legit. I'm not sure who they're catering to, but it's definitely been a good palette for doing miniature painting, so I'm not complaining. Okay, now, as we can see from him right here, he's definitely got a lot of spots I still need to work on. I eventually need to touch up his shoulder pad, his back, and his other pauldron with some of the mixture of pale sand and the gold yellow I'm using, and that'll bring it up to brightness because it's been kind of toned down with the Reikland Flesh Shade, or the Seraphim Sepia, I'm sorry, but we'll see how that all turns out. It's definitely adding a really nice golden orange, reddish orange to the whole thing. So let's go ahead, add a little bit more to some of the spots I might have missed. And I will be honest, this camera angle is a whole mess. I've basically got to angle him just ever so slightly off so that I can kind of see what I'm doing, but half of the camera, since I am using a cell phone camera, is in my face. But we'll stick with it today. We'll see if I can get used to it. And hopefully it'll look okay on the camera feed, because I can't really see what I'm doing since I have a microphone stand with a portable booth in the way. But we're gonna make do with what we got, and we're gonna see this through. Now, once again, I am enamored with the Custodes in terms of just how their models look. Like, I don't think I ever really want to play them on the tabletop, because the one time I did, the game was not fun. I just went through and murder, death, killed a couple friends' units, and then decided that it wasn't a very fun experience. So I don't feel incredibly compelled to do that again. And I don't think I have enough for a 2,000 point game, so I don't think that's ever going to be an issue. There's the other issue that I'm going to have with this camera. It's so low that it's going to keep hitting the handle of the brush when I'm trying to maneuver it around. Hopefully, it'll all be okay. We'll figure something out, I suppose. I will say, having a good brush for this entire thing has really helped, because I started using the Winsor & Newton brush more because the brush I was using was a Citadel brush that was getting pretty beaten up and it was losing its point. And it's like, I have this Winsor & Newton brush, I might as well get some use out of it, because otherwise it's just sitting in there doing nothing. So I started using it, and I was once again reminded just how incredibly good these things are. They are so good at what they do. They are so good at their intended purpose. At some point I'm going to branch out and I'm going to try like Da Vinci Maestros and Raphael Kolinsky's, Raphael 8404s, whatever they're called. But I'll be completely honest, the Series 7 by Winsor & Newton has just been so darn good, I don't really see a point other than personal experimentation. So yeah, if you're looking to get yourself a high quality brush, I would definitely recommend Winsor & Newton Series 7s. Now what tickles me tremendously is, I'm pretty sure I got this one in particular like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, for a Christmas gift from family. And the only reason this one has lasted as long as it has is because I've been too scared to use it. But my biggest problem with the first one is that because I abused the hell out of the brush, it didn't end up lasting that long. So I was like, well, that was a waste of, you know, $25. Whoops, I'm not even on camera anymore, am I? But again, now that I kind of know what I'm doing with it a whole lot better, and I'm not using it for literally everything, only for my high quality paint jobs, it's definitely been able to shine as a very, very accurate, versatile brush. But yeah, that's enough about the brushes. Something that I am kind of tickled by is, and I saw this on Twitter earlier, is someone talking about Master of Mankind, and just talking about reading it, and I cannot gush enough about that book. I'm not sure how others felt about it, but I just know that I thought it was a tremendous, tremendous novel, and I had a lot of fun reading it, and I thought it did a great job of presenting the Emperor as a character, because it's one of the few books where he is an actual character in the book. And he's just so impossibly, like, preoccupied with things at a much greater scale than what's actually going on, and so detached that it really drove that point home. Like, the man is very clearly presented as super intelligent and super knowledgeable, but that doesn't necessarily make him wise. You know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily mean that he has the answers to all questions that'll make every situation fine. It just kind of means that his intellect is so heavily focused on the big picture that the small picture that is happening is just completely, almost completely under his under his worth, under his, you know, priorities. Which is just funny when you consider how badly it can all screw up his plans. I really like that book. I really like how it worked. I think that Aaron Dembski-Bowden's a great writer. Yeah. One of my friends, the one who got me into Warhammer, I think I've talked about him on the channel, Soft Servo. He just started reading it at my recommendation, and it's already made him want to start a Thousand Sons army, because he's always been kind of intrigued with Magnus. He's always kind of liked Magnus, but it's also, he's just in love with how incredibly crotchety and, you know, I don't want to say uncaring, but definitely uncaring about the current situation the Emperor is kind of portrayed to be. and it fits his personality so well. So I was really happy with the book. I know it's a little older at this point, but if you haven't read Master of Mankind and you want to kind of get a glimpse into how the Emperor thought and that specific point, the War in the Webway, it's very much worth a read. It's very much worth a read. But yeah. Of course, it made Endymion Raw out to be this amazingly cool character. You know what? I think I'm going to add some more silver bits to this guy. And probably I need to do some black in his body glove to more show off, you know, the contrast to the gold. I don't remember if I've done that with other characters, but I feel like he's definitely going to need it, because otherwise he's just going to come across as, you know, obscenely gold and not in a really fun way, or not in a way that's going to look really good. So I think having more other metals and other colors show up throughout the mini is going to help the gold punch that much harder. Or at least right now, I need to make sure that I am not going overboard with the gold on some of these spots, because otherwise it's just going to read as a yellow. By keeping the contrast, I'm going to help the gold sell better. So hopefully this will all sell better. That's something else I actually really need to do, is after hitting the shoulders, the pauldrons, and the back with the wash, I need to go back and I need to hit them with gold again. Rockefeller rolls, how's it going? What am I using as a deep shade? I honestly don't remember. It's some kind of dark brown mix that I sprayed him with that just kind of made him look chocolatey. And that's kind of been my deep shade color. And after I paint this gold yellow that I'm painting on him as a mid-tone, I'm going to go back with Seraphim Sepia and hit it all. And that's going to give him what I think is a nice kind of warm glow to his gold. And that's what the helmet has. But after I do that, I'm going to go back over with the gold brown for the highlights, and then go back up even higher with a gold brown, or gold yellow, I'm sorry, pale sand mix, which allows for the much brighter highlights of the Vexilia. So hopefully it will all turn out okay. I bought these specifically so I could practice non-metallic metal techniques, and it's going is the best way I can put it, because I don't feel like I'm really good at it yet, but I'm definitely seeing, you know, improvement steps happening. And so that's kind of been a feel-good for me. Okay, so let's see. What else do I got going on here? I think his other elbow, I forget what it's called. There's a proper term for his elbow armor, but I'll be darned if I remember what it is right now. But yep, just gonna go ahead and keep using the Winsor & Newton to get the really fine brush strokes to kind of dry brush it, not dry brush it on there, but not quite stipple it on there, I guess. Haven't caught your stream. How's it going? It's going pretty well. I don't stream as often as I should. I'm not an especially big streamer, but yeah, my wife just left to go to a concert, and so I'm kind of home alone for a little bit, and I figured that I'd use some of this time to stream a bit more. I'm a school teacher by trade, so normally I stream in the afternoon, but we're on summer break, and I didn't just want to spend all summer down in the basement painting and streaming. So I'm trying to set certain boundaries and schedules for myself. So right now it's what time is it? It's 2:15 Eastern, and around 4 I'm going to head back up, feed the pets, and then do some exercise. So what are you doing with your Marines? Obviously they're like some of the funnest things to paint in terms of color customization. You got a specific chapter in mind, or are you kind of making up your own, giving your own successor chapter. I'm an Imperial Fist player, personally, but I definitely enjoy seeing and hearing about other Marine chapters and how people are making them. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I have my VPO up on my avatar, so after I kind of finish hitting this thing, I'm gonna need to turn that on. A little bit more of that yellow. Yeah, that whole, you know, put the bright spots where the light will hit and the light will reflect off of is kind of difficult for me, because even though I've been around metals all my life, I've never really thought about it that deeply. There we go. And clean that brush off. And I am going to actually hop back into the Discord. Go back to my Discord. Oh, thanks for joining the Discord. I'm going to hop on there. And there we go. Now my little guy's up. Yeah, the Discord I have is not super active. Generally, I just have it there because people suggested that they wanted to be able to post their own models, which I thought was pretty cool. And they wanted me to be able to post some of my stuff on there. So it's just there for anyone who wants to post stuff on there. But yeah, very small time, very small time. Let's see, how does that look? Something I didn't notice about these guys was I thought they were wearing gold bracers, but no, it's leather gauntlets. So that's something I'm going to have to keep in mind when I paint this guy. Every other one I've done I've went ahead and painted in gold, and now I suppose it would be better for me to go back and give them more of a leather gauntlet look. Okay, what do we got in the showcase? Oh, we got some... Ooh, I love the lighting you're getting on those, on the Ultramarines. And that's not an Ultramarine. That looks like a Salamander. Very cool. Yeah, volumetric lighting still kind of eludes me. I'm doing my best with it, but I am not to that skill level. Let's see. What else do I think? Upper body is for the most part done, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit that with, actually, you know what? Before I do, let's do some show and tell, shall we? Let's go over here. And let's see, window capture. Showcase. Yeah. Knock that up. There we go. Look at that. That's absolutely bloody brilliant. That's something I hope to get better at. I'm working on it, and I'm trying, but not quite there yet. Looks fantastic, though. Yeah, look at that lighting. Look at that shading. Very nice. Very nice. Very cool. There we go. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit this with a wash, and then eventually go back over it to bring some of the color back out. Get it away from that just purely orangey red. So this is going to cover up a lot of my little mistakes. Okay. A little bit on there. A little bit on there. And on there, a little bit there, on the shoulder. And now I can go back and hit some of the other stuff. It looks fantastic. I'm in awe of your ability to get that kind of smooth blending. I'm working on it, but I'm trying. Hey, Keith. I didn't even notice that. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on, and I didn't realize, Keith, that you were here. Both of the chat colors are showing up as blue on my OBS Studio, so it all looked like the same person. But yeah, it has been a while since we've seen each other. But yeah, that volumetric lighting is gorgeous. That blending is gorgeous. I'll get there eventually. Okay, am I even visible? They're both green on mine. Fair enough. Okay, so we're gonna hit that a little bit more. Try to bring the yellow back out now that we've got that nice little transition between gold, you know, the goldish reddish brown or orange down to the chocolate brown I originally did. And then we can start doing our actual highlights. And then I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do with these Custodes, because I don't really want to keep them. My plan was to paint them up and then get some photos of them so I could say that I learned how to do non-metallic metal. Or at least practiced a lot on these guys, and then I have no clue. I have a friend who wants to play Custodes, but I don't know if he's going to want to buy them for what I'm going to want to sell them for. There's been already dozens of hours put into these. So I suppose I will have to see later. I'll burn that bridge when I get to it. It's kind of like I've got a bunch of... It's a brave choice to practice on. I respect it, fair enough. Yeah, I realized I was making life really, really difficult on myself by using Adeptus Custodes to practice non-metallic metal. But I figured they're all in gold. Might as well try, I guess. Because I've wanted as Custodes. I thought I actually just wanted to get like a set of guards, set of Custodes guards, but I had some trade-in credit, and my wife convinced me to go ahead and get the combat patrol. Because it's like, you've been wanting to practice non-metallic metal, and yeah, the guard would be nice, but here you could have an entire combat patrol, and if you really wanted to, you could play the game with them instead of just a squad. So that was kind of the decision-making aspect there. It really doesn't help that the first thing I tried to do non-metallic metal on was Gilliman. And I'd never done it before up to that point, so I was really taking a shot in the dark. It turned out pretty okay, and it's actually what helped me win that painting competition. Was, I guess, people just thought that that was really nice. But, I don't know, it's a skill I thought looked cool and I really wanted to learn it. And of course, I made the boneheaded decision of trying to paint that entire guy up using a Citadel brush that was old and beaten up, so getting some of these blends, getting some of these more subtle color changes was very difficult. So hopefully, this guy will turn out a-okay when I finish him. He's already looking better than some of my other attempts. They were a little rough. And that's because I was trying to use a considerably more difficult method to learn the non-metallic metal. I don't know if you guys know Maverick paints. Use the old-style Stormcast Eternals to practice on. That seems like a smart idea. I haven't been in the hobby long enough to have those. I got into 40K like 3 or 4 years ago, and haven't really been able to get my friends interested in Age of Sigmar, but I went ahead and bought the Stormcast Eternals from the oh my goodness, the Dominion box, just because someone was selling them really cheap. And I debated doing true metallic metal on those guys and trying to learn how to get better at that, but they have sat unassembled in a box for like 7 months now. So that's a project that may never come to pass. I might just end up selling them again. They're really cheap on eBay. That doesn't surprise me at all. Let's see what you got here. Oh, hey, thanks for joining the Discord. Like I said, it's not super active, but if you guys ever want to show off your minis, there are definitely people there who love seeing painted minis. Yeah, I ended up getting the Dominion half of Stormcast Eternals for like $60, I think. And it's like 800 points of minis for the price of a video game? Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, I think this is about all I really need to do here. And his back. I need to go ahead and get his back. These little exhaust ports. Forgive me if he ends up traveling off camera. Like I said before, I'm using a slightly different setup because one of my stage lights finally died, and I need to repair it. But until then, I've just kind of decided to move my my camera to the other side, and it's doing this thing where it's very much kind of covering my right eye like a viewfinder, and so I can only see about half of what I'm doing right now. Hopefully, I oriented the camera in such a way that the model is still kind of showing up where he needs to be. But I can't guarantee that he will stay there. Okay, so give me a second. I'll bring up that post in Discord in just a second. Let me finish off hitting some of these spots on him. Okay, let's see what we got. Discord, showcase. Oh, got some nice Tyranids. Oh man, have you've seen the new Tyranid models? Oh, there's the the Indomitus cap, or not the Indomitus, the Leviathan captain against, I guess, the original version of him that you have. That's always really funny to me. So let's see, there it is. There's your beautiful boys. Those Tyranids look so good. I bought a second Leviathan box with the intent on splitting it with a friend. I was originally just gonna sell the models. In case scalping had gotten really bad, I was going to sell the box at MSRP. But obviously scalping wasn't an issue, so my buddy and I decided to split it. So he got the Tyranid half of the first box I bought, and I got the Space Marine half. This time he's getting the Space Marine half, and I'm getting the Tyranid half, I guess. But yeah, the new Tyranids look fantastic. There's oh my goodness, I don't know what the Tyranids are called. That's not a Prime. Maybe it is, I have no clue. This one got me, though. That one made me laugh. Don't talk to me or my son ever again. The scale creep has just been so immense with 40K. I love it in a lot of ways because it's definitely made the models more dynamic and interesting to look at. But as someone who just got the Citadel Crusade case after trying almost $300 worth of other mini transport, the new size is definitely screwing with me pretty bad. That was one of the first 40K models you ever bought. It was sometime around 98, so you stripped it and repainted it. It looks fantastic. All those models look absolutely fantastic. I haven't been into 40K that long. I think the best way I can say is around the time the pandemic really kicked off was when I started getting into 40K. Because I have a friend coworker who, he was into X-Wing. And because of his friends, and they kind of got out of X-Wing and got into 40K really hard, and he told me that I might like it, so I started getting into 40K, and then I got really into 40K. But yeah, that's about how long I've been doing this, is around 2020, I think? Would be the time period, 2020, 2021? And I'm not as fond of the game itself. I still like playing it, but it's not my favorite thing in the world. The part of the game, whoops, he's not even on camera. You stripped your 3rd edition Tyranid army and you're repainting them as well. That's got to be a lot of fun. I do enjoy kind of getting that new coat of paint on them, because it just shows you how much you've grown as a painter. But, I forgot what I was saying. It's gone. It's gone, whatever it was. Oh yeah, I started playing during 9th, and 9th was okay, I guess. It was a lot to take care of and a lot of bookkeeping, which I know has been simplified down from previous editions, but it was just too much for me and my friends. And so we went over to one-page rules for a little while. And now that 10th edition is out, we're definitely having a lot more fun playing 10th edition, but still not my favorite thing. I enjoy the painting of the models and kind of the reading of the fiction a whole lot more than I enjoy the actual playing of the game. Though I do definitely follow it. I do definitely enjoy collecting my lists and whatnot. But I don't know. I don't... the actual war game is not the thing that gets me excited about it. I did see that they were doing a new version of Epic 40K for Horus Heresy, which I thought was kind of neat, though I question their logic in choosing the Iron Hands and the Death Guard, who are two of the blandest looking legions to kind of show off the game, but that's their prerogative, I guess. You're kind of the same these days? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the general conceit of the game is what it is, and once you kind of figure out how to play your army, that's it. But that's how I am about a lot of hobbies. I kind of figure out how the hobby works, how the game works, go, okay, cool, that's fine. And unless there's something else to draw me back in, I don't tend to stick around with it for too long. But the painting aspect of this is just, it really has got me by the neck right now. I'm very much enjoying learning the skill. Okay, the individual leafies. Get a little bit of white on there. Well, off-white. This is technically like a yellow-white. A yellow off-white. But just get a little bit on there to show off shine. Get a little bit more up here. I don't think I really need anything too bright. And there we go. Yeah, a little bit of that white again. A little bit on the ridges. A little bit more of that. There we go. I don't know, you've seen a lot more of the game change than I have, and I can't imagine trying to go from... Gosh, I have no idea what edition it would have been in 1998. Would that have been like 4th edition? Maybe 3rd edition? I can't imagine watching the game grow and develop from like 3rd edition or 4th edition all the way to what it is now. The game must have changed so much. Yeah, I think that'll have to do. Rogue Trader, then 2nd edition on up. Wow, so you've been really into this for a while. Yeah, my knowledge of the editions and the likes is very limited. I've already forgotten what I was painting. Shoulders. I was doing shoulders. My knowledge of the actual editions is very limited. That should tell you enough. I've read pretty much, I think, more than half of the Siege, or more than half of the Horus Heresy. I've read all of the Siege of Terra's main books. I'm finishing up the Dark Imperium trilogy. I want to start getting into Gaunt's Ghosts and Eisenhorn. Like, I'm eventually going to start reading more and more, but right now, I'm just so enamored with the Horus Heresy. And what fun they brought to that. But the actual in-game stuff, pre-9th, I'm very, very foggy on. Let's see. Let me go back over that with a brighter white, off-white. Go back over that a little bit to brighten that up. Yeah, a lot of little downward strokes. Just a lot of weird little stipples in there. So is there anything that you particularly miss about, like, old 40K? Because I know that each new edition has ruffled some feathers and made people less and less interested in the game, which is absolutely fair. Is there anything that you really... I think I've asked this before, to be honest. I don't recall the answer because it's been too long. But is there anything in particular that you really, really miss about, like, pre-8th edition 40k? Let's go ahead and give that a quick kind of... Yeah, that'll work. Just a quick kind of dry brush. Sideways dry brush. And there we go. Pauldrons don't look great. Don't look terrible. Very doable. Very okay. Oh yeah, the helmet. I probably ought to repaint his helmet a little bit. Make his helmet all nice and bright. Because I didn't even touch his helmet after hitting it with that wash. Funny thing is that 9th edition went back to how things in Rogue Trader 2nd edition were. That's really neat. I did not know that. I've never heard that before. All I've heard is a lot of people bitching about how much 9th edition ruined the game. Admittedly, I'm not going to the brightest, happiest places on the internet when I look at that, because I've also heard a lot of people who really liked the changes of 9th edition and 8th edition. But it just seemed that the general reaction to it was, why can't it be like it was? But then again, as with Games Workshop, I can't imagine trying to keep a game like Warhammer feeling fresh and new for over 30 years. That is true, nerds do hate change. If thing isn't like it was when they were a kid, then it's worse. Or like how they remember it being when they were a kid. So yeah, what did they, again, don't mean to be asking you like an interview questions and whatnot, but what did they have in Rogue Trader and the like that they brought back in 9th edition? This is purely from a curiosity standpoint as someone who never played it, barely knew about it. Because I'm pretty sure I was alive for Rogue Trader. Had to have been. That was the late 80s. Okay, get some of that yellow color back up. Take it back a little bit from the orange that we had going on. Get a little bit more of that. More of the edge, a little bit more of the edge. A little bit more there. That actually did a really good job of kind of neutralizing the colors a little. That's exactly what I was hoping would happen. Okay. Got another little beep on the Discord. Let's see what's going on over here. Anything? These are 30 years old and they're still fine after all this time. Good gravy. Yeah, I gotta show this off. Look at them paints. Look at how old them paints are. I can't believe they still work. Most of the stuff that I see with some of the old school paints, they're like, yeah, we found them, we bought them, and then they try and open them, and they're, you know, rock solid and dehydrated and desiccated. I don't know if... Wait a minute. Again, I don't have my glasses on. Green. Oh, man. I have a friend. It's the one who got me into the game that would absolutely kill to get a jar of Goblin Green. He's so enamored with that as his base colors because he loves the bright look of old school Warhams. That is so cool. I think there's a company that has decided to try and replicate the old colors, and I don't remember their name, but one of the colors they do have and that they have brought back is definitely called Goblin Green. The original vehicle rules they did were crazy. You had a see-through sheet with a graph on it. You placed it on an outline of the vehicle and rolled 2d10s to match 2d10s and match them to the numbers in the sheet, and you could change the numbers by your ballistic skill. You found them in a box in the loft. You forgot you had them. My goodness. I can't believe they're still good. That's the one thing that's really hitting me, is I cannot believe those are still good. That is so impressive. Depending on where you live, I'm surprised that didn't dry them out. And you don't need to dox yourself, but that's really impressive. Okay, I almost forgot about that little skirt on his little fringe on his breastplate. There we go. There we go. Whoops, you can't even see it. Got that little bit above his cabling. Yeah, the back looks about as okay as it's gonna look, I think. Next, I believe, is the elbows, and then I can go back over and highlight these guys. Nope, I already did those elbows. What's happening? Oh yeah, his belt buckle. The old style pots were airtight, so the paint never went off and were indestructible. That's really cool. I guess there must have been a broken seal in some of the videos and whatnot that I've seen, because that's normally where I see this stuff, is on like midwinter minis and whatnot, where they buy an old case, an old box set, and the pots seem to be sealed, but they've actually dried. There's been like a leak in them, I guess, an air leak, and they've just dried out and they're useless, and they end up having to put a lot of like paint thinner in there and marbles, and they have to agitate the shit out of them to get them to be halfway viable. But that is so neat. The oldest thing I have is a fine cast model of Darnath Lysander, which I bought when I realized he was going out of production. I bought him off of eBay because I'm an Imperial Fist player, if you cannot tell by my shirt on my little avatar. And I really wanted to have an old school Lysander. And I gotta say, I'm really happy that they made Lysander actually pretty halfway decent in 10th edition, because, and took away like the character restrictions. It's definitely made it worth it. Unfortunately, he's so damn tiny that I don't really feel like using him, so instead I use a Terminator Praetor from Praetor from the Horus Heresy game, and my friends and I play together, so we just kind of say, yeah, that's Captain Lysander, it's fine. Okay, let's go ahead and hit that. Yeah, this guy is looking pretty darn good, all things considered. I do very much dig that, like, across these models, when I look at them, I can definitely see where I've improved and tried and failed and tried and succeeded on the technique. It's kind of a nice little visual reminder of where I've been and where I'm going. Okay, let's get that in there as far as I can get it. I feel like that part wouldn't really shine unless there's room to do so. Let's go ahead and do the same thing over here. Just a little bit of this off-white, nothing too grand. And I think that's good right there. I'll have to go back and highlight all this with a white to really, really make it pop. Let's see. On to... Get that one more time. Onto the helmet. Just little swoops here and there to show off that he has brightness going on. There we go. Let's see what else we got here. But yeah, for the most part, I've used, actually, speaking of using, I tried using army painter paints. I was painting a friend's army up for him because he's been having a really rough go of it lately. And, I've helped him out in other ways. Oh, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. At some point, I need to break down that GIF and, put an Imperial Fist our logo on his butt while he's going crazy with it. But, he's been struggling a lot recently, so I offered to paint up his Salamander's force. And, he said, sure, I'd appreciate it, thank you. And, for most of it, I've been using the Vallejo paints that I have. But, I went ahead for the last thing I did for him, which was a squad of Hellblasters that I speed painted. I went ahead and tried to use the Army Painter paints. And, I'm gonna be really blunt here. They're fucking awful. I'm impressed with pretty much anyone now who can paint adequately with Army Painter paints, because it really does feel like they put melted butter next to some food coloring and then declared whatever was there the next day the color for the paint, because there's no traction. It's all really translucent and runny. It's really bad paint, and that kind of surprised me, because I remembered starting on Army Painter and thinking that, you know, these aren't so bad. But I guess when you're new and you don't know any better, yeah, they seem like they're fine. Yeah, right, they are so bad, aren't they? And that makes me sad, because like all the videos they put out, I know they're publicity to try and make them look good, but all of the videos they put out, you can clearly see that the creator has a lot of passion for trying to make good product, but they're just not good. Yeah, don't sugarcoat it, tell us what you really think. Yeah, I told him that they're dog shit, and I'm really sorry that he's had to use them. Back when he was first getting into the hobby, I got him, just kind of as a welcome to the hobby, I got him an Elite Edition starters kit from 9th edition, and like the starter set of paints from Army Painter. And that's what he's been using ever since. And I've seen his paint jobs, and they're fine, you know, they're definitely playable. Yeah, the washes are, the washes for the most part are fine. I don't think I've ever had any problems with the washes, except their dip washes, because I was not aware that they were oil-based. I bought, I've been using their strong tone, or their dark tone, I forget which, instead of Agrax Earthshade, because it's like half the price at the store I go to. But I went ahead and bought this quick shade from them, and I was not aware that it was an oil-based paint. I'm pretty sure it says so somewhere on here. Yeah, use white spirits to clean your brushes, clothes, and the thinner. It definitely talks about it here, but it's really not good. I'm not very fond of it. Though it did force me to start using spirits and learn how to do an oil wash, so I can't hate it too much. I at least got to learn an important skill via owning that. It's just I don't want to use that anymore for anything. Eventually, I'll get up my courage and I'll use some of the Winsor & Newton oil paint that I got and try and use that for like griming and streaking effects and see how that actually works on the minis. Because I keep seeing videos where people are doing it and it always looks absolutely fantastic. But I've never really had the courage to do so. So who knows? Mayhaps I will see one of these days. When I try and do like a Golden Demon entry or something. Though that's probably not the right place to practice, is it? All I know is they were so bad that I told them, look, I'm honestly considering giving you all my Vallejo paints and going and completely rebuying my catalog, but through Scale 75, because I really like Scale 75 paints. And Can be useful for doing quick pieces of terrain where you don't care so much. Just slap on the base color and dip. Yeah, that's fair, I guess. That's something I need to get better about too. I have some terrain that I base it with my terrain. I kind of just dry brush the shit out of it, and then I use a homemade wash that I learned from Midwinter Minis, and that wash is the best example of, like, yeah, it works I've ever seen, because it does just that. But I guess when I made the mixture, I made it wrong, because it smells like burnt hair, and it doesn't puddle well. It doesn't run to the lowest spots very well. So I'm going to have to, like, reevaluate that soon. Okay, what else do I need to do on this guy? Quite a bit. Go ahead and hit his butt. And draw just a line going straight down to work as kind of a separator. Give it a couple little spots so that it can look as though there's going to be high spots in it and low spots. But yeah, that's part of why I love this damn hobby so much. There's so many different ways to do things and so many different materials. I'm very much enjoying myself here. And yeah, my hope one day is really to try and enter like a golden demon or something and see how far I can go. I know with golden demon especially, you have to spend exorbitant amounts of time on your minis, and you've really got to want it. You've really got to tell a story with the guy or with the minis that you're using. So I'm not there yet, but that is what I aspire to. And I know also that Golden Demon is a very specific judging style. I'm actually on jury duty at the moment, so I've got an early start tomorrow. You're going to have to run soon. That's perfectly fine. I appreciate you hopping by and checking in, saying hi. It was good to see you again. I almost got jury duty earlier this year, and that would have really sucked because I'd already missed a lot of the year due to COVID. And then being hospitalized because of some heart issues. Though the heart issues turned out to not be heart issues, so that's awesome and okay. But it's just like, I'm never going to see my students again. And I actually like them this year, so that sucks. Okay, that can go like that. So yeah, whenever you have to go, just go ahead and head off, man. You gotta have a sharp mind for that kind of stuff, I guess. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of swishing there. I don't know, I got really lucky. We were supposed to call in daily during the weekday to see if we would be required for jury duty. And I got exceptionally lucky, and they never needed me. I do live in a smaller town too, so it would have been really weird to go in for jury duty and realize that I was presiding over the case of one of my former students or something strange like that. Though I guess, in a lot of ways, that would also kind of excuse me from that case because there's an implicit bias there that I know him. I have no idea how jury duty works. Whoops, I'm not even on stream. Best of luck, hope to catch me again soon. Yeah, I hope to see you soon. I can't stream tomorrow because I've got professional development, but I will definitely try and stream a little more often and a little more regularly, so I'll see you later. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and hit this thing, which has so many strange contours. But yeah, that's always been kind of one of my fears, and it's one of those things where, like, I really wonder if I should have tried to find a job out of district, because even though I'm on the opposite side of town, it's not a very big one. It's like a 30-minute drive across town to get from one end to the other. So, and I live on the more modern side that, you know, kids want to frequent, since there's a newer mall on this side of town. And so it really is just kind of like, do I really want to be in a situation where I can run into any of my students at any given time? Oh no, why are you loose? You've been liquid cemented here for over a year. Why are you loose? I'm probably gonna one moment, please. I'm gonna have to glue you back on. Let's see what we got going on here. You, Mr. Tweezers. Yeah, you're... Wow, you weren't even on. Okay. Since this is a very tiny piece and my eyesight is bad, I'm just going to do this off camera real quick. It looks like one of the thigh guards just really didn't bother to bond at all. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it with some plastic cement. And we'll see if I can get it to bond okay. Because they did a great job with these Custodes. They even added these little nubbins on them to help their, to give their thigh bits a piece to latch onto and make it look more authentic. But my god, is it a really hard contact point to line up. Let's hope that does it. Oh, that's no good. And especially even though I gave him this big wide open stance, he is most definitely like blocking every bit of access to it. Okay, that's going to be the best I'm going to be able to do with that. I think I'm going to give that time to dry, and I'm going to work on the other leggy. Okay, so he's back. This side, this was starting to get wibbly, so I'm going to leave that alone for a second. I'm going to work over here for now. Hopefully get kind of the same thing going on where I can block in the yellow, hit it with a wash, and then block in, or I mean reblock in the yellow as a highlight, and then hit it with the yellow, white, off-white mix. There we go, got that nice and good. Put some of that gold in there to the best of my ability. Let's go back over that, hit it with the second coat so that it's a nice strong orangey gold. And then I can hit this all with that wash again, and then hit it with the highlight. Be done with that, make it look nice and good. Okay, let's see, can I hit this? Take the weird angle. There we go. I think I'm going to keep the scabbard, the actual scabbard, the sheath, pardon me, is going to stay a nice brown, but I'm going to make all of the furniture gold because that feels very custody. I will say I am a bit tickled because my first exposure to the Adeptus Custodes was through the If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device videos. And yeah, I'm aware they're all clearly memes and whatnot, but it presents a very interesting mental image to be stuck with you whenever you see the Golden Banana Boys. Though I will admit, I was very impressed as I learned more of the lore, how, I don't want to say accurate, but how generally well-founded a lot of the memes were about the characters and the lore and the different factions via that stupid show. Same thing up here. Let's paint you. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's now that yellow could be a little bit stronger down here. Go ahead and fill that in since this thing clearly shifted a little bit. And let's see. Probably do his thigh armor next. Since I already did it on the back, I might as well do it on the front, right? Same kind of thing though. Lot of area that's not going to be directly reflected, I suppose. So gonna hit this with a fairly dry stroke and let it only really highlight the high spots. I have to let that dry before I can color it back in. This side has some stuff going on, including having metallic paint on it somehow, even though I have not used any metallic paint on these guys. I very explicitly stayed away from it because I tried to do metallic paint on some 3D proxies I did, and I did not like them. Something about the metal all on top of itself just did not look very good to me. Okay. I think this is dried adequately enough. There we go. There we go. Let's go back and give that a slightly better paint job. Hopefully some of the yellow will fill this back in. Okay, hips, butt, all that's done. At some point I gotta do that shield, I guess. If I do, it's gonna end up being completely non-metallic metal, and that's gonna be a mess, but you know what? I will definitely try it. First, let's go ahead and get some of the thighs done. Not the thighs, the shins, the lower leggies. Go ahead and work on that a little bit. There we go. Use the flat of the brush to not spill too much into the crevices on this winged figure. Do the same thing kind of on the other side. And at least for my skill level, pray. There we go. That ended up looking okay. There we go. At the top of this a little bit. I guess I can just keep the leather strapping on. No, I might have to do that a darker brown. It's not the best looking thing in the world, and I don't want it to kind of blend in too much with the other browns in here. So I might actually hit that with a darker brown. See how the leather crotch straps end up looking with a little bit more contrast. Okay. Now let's see, can I even get close to attempting kind of the same side brush stroking thing over here? I mean, most of it will be concealed by shield, no one needs to know, but I still want them to look halfway decent. Speaking of halfway decent, I Every now and then, you know, I'll troll around on eBay to see if I can get some nice rescue minis or whatever. Not pay full price for an old mini that I just don't feel like paying full price for. And I gotta say, some of the paint jobs that they claim are professionally done on there, you guys got a lot of confidence, is all I can really say. They're definitely something. Like, I'm pretty sure that money has exchanged hands for these paint jobs for them to be considered professional, but whew, they are definitely a type on their own. And I feel bad, I kind of feel bad saying that because, you know, I'm not a master painter myself or anything, but there are things that are being missed on those, and the prices that they want for them, I'm glad that they value their time as much as they do. That's kind of what I'm going to say about that. Okay, and yeah, he definitely needs to have his body glove painted a different color. Okay, I think this part of the yellow is just becoming a little bit too wet to really be useful anymore. Okay, I'm not even on camera anymore. My bad, guys. There we go. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Go ahead and strengthen this up a bit more. Maybe have it hang off just a little bit, because that is a very large gap of dark brown that I feel like doesn't really need to be there. Like, some of it's got to stay behind, but most of that I feel like can be blended into the gold. So something I'm definitely going to need to look up, because I honestly don't know the difference, is the difference between Custodian Guard and Custodian Wardens. As far as I can tell with the minis, the only real difference is that the Wardens have that sash around their waist, which I guess is supposed to signify their rank. Oh, excuse me, I apologize. And I just got to a point in Godblight where they talked about having Wardens, and if I recall right, they've served for longer, and therefore they're given the like robe around their waist as something of an honorific. But I always thought it was kind of silly that the only real difference between them model-wise is that one has, you know, a robe wrapped around his waist like a towel, and the other ones don't, given that they're all supposed to be peerless warriors that are nigh eternal and this, that, and the other. But I guess they've got to find a way to make it compelling and interesting somehow. I think that my brush strokes are starting to get a little sloppy. I really don't want to, but I might have to call it a little early because I think I'm more tired than I thought I was. I've been exercising a lot more regularly and with a lot more intensity, partially just for the health benefit, but also because I'm visiting friends of a friend's, and one of them is an avid martial artist, and he found out that I practice some of the more contacty martial arts, and now he wants to spar me. And I'm all for it, but I spent a good amount of the first part of the year with COVID. And then a good amount of the second part of the year trying to figure out whether or not I have an underlying heart condition. So I haven't exactly been super active with training or exercise or any of that stuff. And I'm less worried about getting my ass beat, and I'm more worried about having an asthma attack in the middle of the spar and just face planting and not getting back up again. So I'm kind of training to build my cardio back up. And on top of that, I'm also taking morning walks with my wife because she's getting worried about her physical health and is trying to start making healthier activity habits. So between the extra exercise that I'm doing in the morning and in the afternoon, the swing in diet, because again, trying to just in general be healthier, it's left me very tired. So I may have to call the stream a bit early, depending on whether or not I can snap out of it. What I do know is that so far I'm pretty darn jazzed with how this Custodes turning out. And actually, while I finish doing that, I'm going to go ahead and hit the upper part of his legs with some more of the Seraphim Sepia. Sepia? Sepia? A word I did not see very much growing up, so I have no clue how it's pronounced. Get a little bit more of that in there. It feels like that one hip guard is sticking in very nicely. Just needed an obscene amount of plastic cement to do so. Okay, that's all good. Go ahead and drown you in it. I think these guys are now ready. There we go. Okay, back to leggies. Kind of the same idea, just gotta try and mainly hit the high spots, which I think is something I'll be able to edit once I repaint over and re-highlight some of these spots that the wash is going to hit. But so far, I gotta say I'm pretty happy with how he's turning out. I think I've got 2 more of these guys left out of the original 5-person custodian guard that the box came with. Though I feel like I 3D printed one of them. I know that much. But I feel like in some ways the best thing to do for these guys is to try and make a non-metallic metal out of a dry brush. I'm curious if I can do it. I've never tried it before. One of them isn't an actual custodian. He's Alfarius, I guess. So he's going to be the experimental rat in this situation. My grip keeps wandering over to the left. There we go there. There we go there. On to him feet. Stretch my back a little bit. Go ahead, get these feet. There we go, leave a little gap so that the sun can play in there a bit, the brightness can. And we'll see how all of this looks very shortly. Yeah, my eventual goal with the little guy that I have over in the corner is to have a full-on working virtual environment for him to play in. I was inspired by Doig and Swift, who are a really funny pair of animators who have their own Twitch channel that they use to kind of scamper around and animate and talk about things with their friends. And I was so thoroughly impressed with the user interface that, you know, had to immediately ask, what game is this? Found out it wasn't a game in the most traditional sense, but that the one of the partners in that duo, Doig, he had made this entire thing up in Unity that allowed his characters to run around, jump, interact, and whenever the chat would redeem something, it would do something in game that they would then have to contend with. So it was a very fun idea, and I liked it a lot. And they're very big on sharing knowledge, so he's in the process of doing like an 8-step tutorial, and I cannot wait to finish mine. Okay, that one leggy done. Gonna work on this foot, and then honestly, I think, especially with how much I'm yawning, good granny, I think I'm going to have to call it after I get this guy's foot done. I'm going to hit him with a wash, and I'll let that dry. But that'll also be kind of my quitting time for today, which sucks because I definitely want to stream more. I want to be available for anyone who enjoys watching the channel, or at least having it on in the background while they chill and do their own thing. But if I'm tired, I'm not really going to be much good. Just sit here quietly painting and messing up my own paints. So yeah, after I finish this, I'll hit him with a wash, and then it'll be time for me to sign off. There we go. There we go. Whoops, accidentally punched the camera. My apologies. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's clean that brush really quick. And then I can move back over to the to my other lesser good brush, hit it with a wash, and then it'll be sayonara, I suppose. I don't know, I was gonna exercise. I might not. I'm sleepy. I gotta exercise. I gotta get out there and at least move around a bit. So, let's go ahead and sepia you up. Give everything a nice kind of orangey undertone, overtone, tone. Eventually I'll go back and I'll do the shield, but today is not that day. Okay. Get a little bit more of that red on him. I think, nope, his butt. Can't forget about his butt. Okay, I think that's going to be it for me for today, unfortunately. Didn't really want to cut it short, but I am starting to fall asleep in my seat here. Thank you very much for joining me. It was good to be back. I hope next time I can go for a little longer, but I might do something else next time. No, I think I'm going to finish this guy before I move on to another project, because I'm kind of finished up with a lot of little things, and now I'm just kind of trying to get rid of most of my painting queue, because I realized that I'm just, you know, piling into the pile of shame even more as opposed to getting things done. So, gonna try and finish this guy next time, which probably won't be until Monday now that I think about it, but that's fine. I'll see you later. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and thanks again for joining me. Bye-bye.